One Well by Rochelle Strauss, illustrated by Rosemary Woods. Essential question. Why are natural resources valuable? Read about why water is a valuable natural resource. Imagine for a moment that all the water on Earth came from just one well. This isn't as strange as it sounds. All water on Earth is connected, so there really is just one source of water, one global well, from which we all draw our water. Every ocean wave, every lake, stream, and underground river, every raindrop and snowflake, and every bit of ice in glaciers and polar ice caps is part of this global well. So whether you are turning on a faucet in North America, pulling water from a well in Kenya, or bathing in a river in India, it is all the same water. And because it is all connected, how we treat the water in the well will affect every species on the planet, including us, now and for years to come. You need water, and so does every other living organism, every person, every plant, and every animal. Without water, nothing can survive. Earth is the only planet that has liquid water, and is therefore the only planet that can support life. The amount of water on Earth hasn't ever changed. The water in the well. We live on a watery planet. Almost 70% of Earth's surface is covered with water. The surface water is found in oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, marshes, even in puddles and the morning dew. There is so much water that if you looked down at Earth from space, it would appear blue. But there is also water we can't see, beneath the Earth's surface. This groundwater can be found just about everywhere. It fills the cracks in rocks and the spaces between rocks, grains of sand, and soil. Most groundwater is close to the Earth's surface, but some of it is buried quite deep. Water is also frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps, and there is water in the atmosphere. Every one of these water sources feeds Earth's one well. Where is the water on Earth? Oceans, 97.23%. Ice caps and glaciers, 2.14%. Groundwater, 0.61%. Freshwater lakes, 0.009%. Inland saltwater seas, 0.008%. Moisture in the soil, 0.005%. Water in the atmosphere, 0.001%. Rivers, 0.0001%. Yes, there is more water in the atmosphere and soil than in all of Earth's rivers. Recycling water in the well. The water you drank today may have rained down on the Amazon rainforest 5 years ago. 100 years ago, it may have been steam escaping a teapot in India. The amount of water on Earth doesn't change. The same water just keeps going through a cycle, over and over again. This constant movement of water is called the water cycle. During the water cycle, water evaporates from oceans, lakes, rivers, ponds, and puddles, even from plants and animals. It rises into the air as water vapor. As water vapor rises, it cools into tiny water droplets. This is called condensation. These droplets form clouds. Gradually, clouds collect more and more water droplets. The average white cloud weighs about twice as much as a blue whale. When water droplets get too heavy, they fall from the clouds in the form of hail, snow, or rain. This precipitation returns to oceans, lakes, and rivers. It also seeps into the soil and down into the groundwater. Year after year, water continuously circulates through the water cycle. The water cycle. In 1 year, an area of rainforest the size of a football field pumps over 75,000 liters, 19,700 U.S. gallons, of water vapor into the atmosphere, more than enough to fill a backyard swimming pool. It takes about 1 million tiny water droplets to make just one raindrop. Why are the oceans salty? Rivers flow into the sea, collecting salt from rocks and soil and adding it to the ocean. As ocean water evaporates, the salt is left behind. How thirsty is a tree? On a summer's day, an average-sized birch tree can draw about 300 liters, 80 US gallons, of water from the soil. That's almost enough water to fill 2 large bathtubs. Many plants depend on water to disperse their seeds. A coconut, the seed of a palm tree, can spend weeks, months, or even years drifting in the ocean before reaching land and sprouting. The plants you eat are mostly water. Tomatoes are about 95% water. Apples are about 85% water. Seeds are among the driest foods. They contain only 5 to 10% water. Plants at the well. The first plants on Earth began life in the water. Some were washed ashore. At first, they could live only in wet areas. Gradually, they developed root systems that allowed them to tap into water in the soil. Water is essential to plants. In fact, plants are mostly water. It's the water in their cells that gives them their shape and form. Without it, they droop and shrivel. Water also helps plants make food for themselves. Plants use the sun's energy to change water and carbon dioxide into simple sugars that feed the plant. This process is called photosynthesis. Water then helps carry this food throughout the plant. During photosynthesis, plants also release water vapor into the air. Roots absorb water, which is carried to the stem. The stem acts like a water pipe in your house, moving water through the plant to the leaves. From the leaves, water is released back into the atmosphere. This is called transpiration. The water that is transpired is added to the cycle of water on Earth. Water is important to plants, but plants are also important to water. Plant roots anchor soil and stop it from blowing or washing into lakes and rivers. Leaves and branches trap rainwater, allowing it to seep slowly into the soil instead of flowing quickly away. And trees provide shade, which helps keep moisture in the soil. Plants depend on water from the well for survival. And the well depends on plants to help move water through its cycle. Without plants, the water cycle would be disrupted. Without water, plants could not survive. Animals at the well. Like plants, animals, including you, are mostly made of water. The water in animals is very important. It carries nutrients, helps digestion, removes waste, controls temperature, cleans eyes, and lubricates, oils, joints. Water habitats are also home to many of Earth's animals and are where many animals find their food. Watery species, such as fish, crabs, shrimp, and zooplankton, are an important part of food chains around the world. A food chain is the link that connects animals and other species based on who eats whom. Without water-based species, food chains and food webs, collections of food chains, would collapse. Animals would starve. Animals not only need water to survive, they are also part of the water cycle. Animals add water to the atmosphere by breathing, sweating, and even drooling. The water you brushed your teeth with today may have been the spray of a beluga whale 10 years ago. Some of the wettest animals on Earth are the jellyfish. They are about 95% water. Frogs and earthworms are about 80% water, while dogs, elephants, and humans are about 70% water. People at the well. Since the beginning of time, people have depended on water for drinking, for food, for bathing, and for watering their crops. Water is always provided a highway to move people and products from place to place. As cities and societies grow, so does their need for water. Today, water is essential in our homes, in industry, and in agriculture. At home, we use water for cleaning, cooking, drinking, flushing toilets, and for bathing. But homes account for only 10% of all the fresh water used. About 21% of the water we use goes to make everything from computers to cars. Water is used in hydroelectric plants to generate electricity, and in petroleum plants to make gas. In factories, water is used to heat things up or cool things down, and to wash away waste. Water vapor, steam, even runs machinery. Water is also an ingredient in many products such as lotions, shampoos, chemicals, and drinks. The remaining 69% of the fresh water we use goes into agriculture. Farms use huge amounts of water for crops and livestock. Look around. Almost everything you see was made using water. It took about 130 liters, 34 US gallons of water, to make your bike. Water was used to grow and make the food you eat and the clothes you wear. Water was even used to make the paper for this book, and the ink used to print the words. It takes about 185 liters, 49 US gallons of water, to produce just one glass of milk. This includes the water the cow drinks, the water used to grow food for the cow, and the water needed to process the milk. About 147,000 liters, 38,800 US gallons of water, was needed to make your family's car. A lot of water is required to produce the food you eat. Approximately 5,200 liters, 1,375 US gallons of water, is needed just to make one fast food lunch, burger, fries, and a soda. In North American homes, the bathroom is where about 3/4 of all water is used. One flush of the toilet uses nearly 13 liters, 3.5 US gallons. Nearly a billion people around the world depend on fish as their primary source of protein. Thirsty? People drink an average of 2.5 liters, 2/3 US gallons, of water a day. In your lifetime, you will drink the equivalent of a backyard swimming pool full of water. Pollution in the well. The water cycle helps keep Earth's water clean. As water evaporates, minerals, chemicals, and dirt are left behind. The water vapor that rises into the atmosphere is relatively clean. When rain falls back to Earth, some of it is filtered through rocks and sand and is further cleaned. Even plants play a role. As water travels through them, plants remove chemicals in the water. Then they transpire clean water back into the air. But more and more waste from industry, agriculture, and homes is getting into the water. Runoff from backyards, city streets, and farms dumps dirt and chemicals, such as pesticides, fertilizers, and detergents, into lakes, rivers, streams, and ponds. Pollution in the atmosphere from cars and factories mixes with water vapor in the air. The rain that falls pollutes surface water and groundwater. Our actions may be overloading water's natural ability to clean itself. As more water becomes polluted, there is less clean water available. Nearly 80% of all sicknesses in the world are caused by unsafe water. And wildlife suffers too. Water pollution threatens the health of many species and habitats across the planet. Because of water's self-cleaning powers, the effects of pollution can be stopped and quite possibly reversed. But to do so, we need to reduce the amount of pollution that gets into the water. Water dissolves more things than any other liquid. So in nature, water is never really pure. It almost always has something dissolved in it. Every day, 1.8 million tons, metric tons, 2 million tons, of garbage are dumped into Earth's water, enough to fill more than 15,000 boxcars. Wetlands are nature's water treatment plants. They absorb chemicals and filter out pollution and waste. When pollution in the air mixes with rain, it can turn into acid rain or even acid snow. This acid precipitation can fall thousands of kilometers, miles, from the source of the pollution, even reaching remote areas such as the Arctic. Saving the water in the well. Water has the power to change everything. A single splash can sprout a seed, quench a thirst, provide a habitat, generate energy, and sustain life. It also has the power to unite or divide the world. Water is the most basic and important need of all life on Earth. But Earth's one well is in trouble. There is simply not enough clean water to go around. Taking actions to conserve water can help save the well. Conserving water means protecting both the quantity and quality of water on Earth. For example, using less water helps prevent water sources from drying up, and reducing water pollution protects the overall health of the well. Water conservation can help ensure there is enough clean water for everyone on the planet. By becoming more aware of how you use water, and by using less, you too can protect the water in Earth's one well. Remember, every drop counts.